Happy Monday. Man, it is so many things happening at once right now. So many things happening at once. And I want to talk about it with you all. What's up, everybody? I'm going to give people about 15 seconds to get up in here, and we're going to go ahead and hop right into it. Hit the like button on your way in, of course, just as a reminder. Let me start off by saying that I have a treat for everybody. This live is starting at 7 p.m. Central Time or Eastern Time. I'm one of them. And the moment that this live ends, I will make public an interview that I just finished earlier today with an ex TPUSA employee. And some of you have already seen this person in other interviews, so you may not be as shocked to hear some of the things that he told me. Some of you are going to be, you're going to find the interview very interesting. So that will become live or public the moment that this live is over with. So stay tuned for that. Merchandise. A lot of you all have been emailing me and DMing me asking me for merchandise. And I'm proud to announce that I will have merchandise available this week. And I'm excited to present it to you all. So please be on the lookout for that. It's been a long time coming, but I think you will appreciate that quite a bit. As we transition into this first clip, I want to share something with you all. So, ironically, I can't say the name of the organization due to contractual reasons, but I used to work for this company. And this company I used to work for, it's not a conspiracy. It's not me guessing. I literally work for them. And it's a very, 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 very popular organization, right? A very high-ranking organization in the state. And when we would host or sponsor events, we would literally work with, let's say, for example, the event that we're hosting would be featuring the mayor, or the event that we're hosting would feature one of the, newest 501c3s in the city. Well, depending on who the person is, if they're newer in the space, we would literally prep people. So it's not always sinister in nature, but we would literally prep people before the event. Like, we would quote unquote plant people in the audience. We will let the mayor or the, whoever the CEO of the 501c3 is, we would literally tell them beforehand what the questions will be. They may not know who the questions will come from, who in the audience may be asking the question, but we will literally tell them, hey, this is a list of the questions you should expect tonight. We may not have time to get to all of them, but this is what you should expect. Prep yourself so that way you don't look, surprised or shocked or caught off guard. You're not embarrassed by anything that's asked. This can be very promotional for you, promotional content. It's very similar to like if you play sports and you're an NBA player and you step down to the G League and you play some scrimmage games against G Leaguers. Like, nobody's going to give you points for that if we know that you're playing against G Leaguers, because we're saying like, yeah, you're a pro, you're a professional, you should perform well against them. If you show me a highlight reel as an NBA player of you playing against high schoolers or college players, you're not going to get a lot of credit for that. That's not going to look super great for you. However, if You show us a highlight reel if you playing against other NBA players and you perform well, then that's different. It's the same thing with interviews. If you're newer to our space and you've been prepped for what's about to happen and people know that, then it looks worse as opposed to you showing up. You have no idea what the audience is going to ask you. It comes off a lot more organic, right? So this Erika Kirk CBS town hall meeting was exactly that. It's not the first time that you all have heard it. Candace dropped the deuce already that she had people in the audience telling her, and I've had people to reach out to me as well. It was 100% scripted. And scripted in the sense of Erika Kirk knew about the questions beforehand, right? She knew about many of those questions beforehand. I want to start off with this photo here. The reason I want to start off with this photo is because I just want to paint the scene here. Erika Kirk attended Candace Owens' wedding. She was there. This does not mean that they were best friends. This does not mean that they knew each other very well, but they were familiar with each other. They've met each other multiple times, especially enough for obviously Charlie and Candace was close, and Erika was there by default. You were there for one of the most important days of Candace Owens' life. I think it's safe to say. I'm sharing this to say I'm setting the groundwork so that everything I'm about to show you after the fact is going to be much harder to argue against it. Because the reason why I believe a lot of this is theater is because for you to announce for the first time in an interview that Candace Owens and the rest of these people or the rest of us should stop, quote unquote, peddling conspiracy theories, for you to announce that for the first time on a CBS interview where there was a lot of other propaganda pushed in this interview, told me that this was about, there were other agendas attached to this. There were other agendas. Because you probably have Candace's number, and even if you don't, if you just put out a public statement, if you reached out and DM'd Candace Owens, she would respond to you. Why not just reach out to Candace Owens in private and tell her to stop 3 months ago? Why would you not do that 3 months ago? Why are we doing it second week in December? Why? Well, we're going to talk about why I think that is. Okay. Before we hop into it, let me show a tweet from our president. This tweet that I'm about to read is one of the most disgusting tweets I've ever seen in my life from any world leader ever. Ever. And the other tweets that rival this tweet is ironically going to be Donald Trump. Let's read what our president had to say. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump. Why is he speaking as if he's not the one tweeting this? Probably because he's not the one tweeting this. And probably because he's not the one that tweets a lot of the things that he tweets. But I digress. Which is his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. So, bro, what? So first and foremost, these people were stabbed to death, allegedly. And it was ritualistic, by the way. So if you all would like to see that, once this video has ended, if 100 people will comment on this video once I am no longer live, and you would like for me to do a full video covering this whole Rob and Michelle unaliving, I will happily and gladly do that. Because in my opinion, it was 100% ritualistic. And it is alleged that their son did it. It is suspected that their son may have done it. And the timing of it, it's not a coincidence. But let's say that first. Trump, they were stabbed to death. Secondly, why are you speaking on people that were just unalived in this manner? You're a president. This is distasteful. It's unprofessional. It's whatever the opposite word of presidential is. I'm going to just say this last little bit about this tweet, and then we'll move into the whole Erika Kirk thing. But we had to spend some time talking about this because all the foolishness that we witnessed on the quote-unquote left, or from the quote-unquote left, my mind was blown. I guest appeared on a podcast earlier this year, or maybe last year. Yeah, it was earlier this year, called Poppin' Politics. A group of so-called Black conservative women. I love their politics. I love their takes. I love how they call out the left, pretending to not know what a woman is. A woman is whoever defines or identifies as a woman. Men can go in women's bathrooms. You can get abortions no matter the stage of pregnancy. Complete evil foolishness. Ungodly foolishness. But something I noticed was, if Trump will tweet something crazy, or if he said something crazy, or stood for something, or supported something crazy, I'd always think to myself, why would Trump say that? Why would Trump do that? Shoot, X, Y, and Z podcasters like Poppin' Politics, who I respected, they're going to have a tough time today covering this. They're going to have a tough time tomorrow covering this because Trump makes it hard for them, I'm sure. And then the day will go by and I would never see a video from them. The next day will come and I would never see a video from them. I'm like, well, maybe I missed it. They will pretend like Trump didn't tweet this. They will pretend like there's nothing evil about this tweet. That's when I realized, I didn't realize it then, I should reword that. That's when it was obvious to me that, again, these people are all wings of the same bird. They're all hypocrites. They all cover for each other. They all look the other way. They all have cognitive dissonance. They have double standards. All of them. The left or right, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. All right. This is one of the most evil tweets I've ever seen from a president or a world leader ever in my life. To talk like this. And I'm not going to show you the video here, but then he doubled down. Someone asked him in the Oval Office earlier today, and he was like, yeah, the guy was deranged. His mind was diluted. He was obsessed with me. This is our president. Insane. Anyways, let me get this off my screen. And let's transition into the first topic. So why did Erika Kirk not just reach out to Candace directly? Why did Erika Kirk wait until a town hall meeting with the lights on, with the cameras on, with an audience that was pre-selected, a pre-selected audience, with pre-selected questions. And it's being said that multiple takes, they took multiple takes in this edited interview. But they want people to feel like this is organic. They want people to feel like this is authentic. Well, I want you all to notice the timing of it all. Candace, interestingly enough, said that this is a psychological operation, which is something I've been saying for months. How there are these orchestrated tweets and videos that are coming out against anybody that's questioning and noticing, for simply noticing. You're evil for noticing how odd the behavior is in some of these clips, not all of them, but some of these clips from Miss Erika. You're something is wrong with you for noticing it. Well, I actually have news for Candace Owens. The psychological operation runs deeper than just Erika Kirk. It also applies to who you call your friends, Candace Owens. Like an Officer Tatum. Because a lot of his content has been making fun of and pretty much insulting on the highest level people like Candace. He just never says Candace's name. People like Matt Walsh. For those of you that don't know, it's not a coincidence that all of this happened in a week span. I'm about to show you the clip from Matt Walsh that came completely out of left field. Then we're going to react to Erika Kirk's clips and the people that participated and the topics they chose to talk about. Then we're going to talk about the powwowing that took place in Australia the same day that the Erika Kirk interview dropped. And that's not a coincidence. And I'm going to show you why I believe it's not a coincidence for like 5 different reasons. If you're going to tell me all 5 of these reasons are coincidences, I have nothing else to say to you. I'm sick of the coincidences. Hence why I have a series called More Than a Coincidence on this channel that's been running for like 5 years. I shouldn't have 50, 60, 70, 80 videos that continues to prove why we believe that these things are not coincidences, covering a span of different topics. Let me first show you the clip that came from Matt Walsh just days before this Erika Kirk interview. Let's listen to what Matt Walsh, who is a self-proclaimed good friend of Candace Owens, and also a self-proclaimed avid pursuer of truth. This is what Matt Walsh has said. Okay. Well, let's hear what Matt Walsh, friend of Candace Owens, had to say about Candace and other people who have questions about Erika Kirk and TPUSA.
It was clear to me then, and has become all the more clear to me since, as I've gotten to know her more, that this is somebody with an immense amount of strength and courage. So when people look at Erika and say she's acting strange, I've never seen a grieving person act this way. Well, I agree. She's an exceptional person in an extraordinary situation, handling it with remarkable poise and dignity. That is a virtue, and virtue is a strange thing in our day.
Okay, so there's so many things here. This is why I'm sick of these political talking heads, man, on the right and the left. These people are hypocrites. Matt Walsh has built a career off of impressively, and I don't mean it as a backhanded compliment. Matt Walsh is talented. He is. He pays attention to details. He's able to notice things that many people will overlook, only when it applies to the left. So let me make sure I understand. Matt Walsh, you can criticize people on the left for the most microscopic things. that they say or do, and many of them are good points. But now all of a sudden, when it applies to somebody on the right, you can't see it anymore. Erika Kirk's behavior at best has been very weird. At best. At worst, one could even use the word suspicious. But let's be neutral. Her behavior has been odd. Matt Walsh pretends like it hasn't been odd. It's been virtuous and showing strength and remarkable, what's the word? Resolve. Really, Matt Walsh. All of a sudden, he can't see what all of us see. I don't have anything against Turning Point USA. I don't have anything against Charlie Kirk. I don't have a bone to pick with these people. I don't have a dog in the race. I'm just noticing. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Matt Walsh doesn't see it that way.
And even if she were not an impressive person, she would still be a grieving widow. She would still be my friend's wife. And I would still feel duty-bound to support her, as I have over these past 3 months in ways both public and not. So what I am asking everybody, including Candace, is to please leave this woman alone.
What? Bro. One of the weirdest things that I'm trying to understand, and I'm still trying to figure this out, and maybe you all can help me along the way, is I'm trying to figure out how this political thing works behind the scenes. I gave an interview, for those of you that are just joining. I gave an interview with an ex-TP USA employee that will be dropping or premiering in about an hour. So stay tuned for that. Make sure your notification bells are still hit, because YouTube will unsubscribe you if you don't know. And something that kind of comes up in my interview with that person is I don't really know how this stuff works behind the scenes. He got to see what Turning Point USA was actually like, what they're actually like behind the curtain, not what they're like public facing. Newsflash or spoiler, it's completely different. But if you're friends with Candace Owens and you can see, like we can see, what Candace Owens has been saying on her podcast, why would you come out on a public platform with a very disingenuous, dishonest statement such as, Candace, leave Erika Kirk alone? She hasn't been attacking Erika Kirk. Remember, when this clip came out from Matt Walsh, which I believe was early last week, Candace hadn't really said a whole lot. She had been critical, a little bit critical of Erika Kirk, the CEO, not Erika Kirk, the widow. She hasn't criticized very much of Erika Kirk, the widow or the woman, at all. I don't think she said anything critical of her at all in that respect. What is Matt Walsh talking about? And if I'm his friend, if I'm Candace Owens or anybody that he's referring to, I'm looking at you like, are you really my friend, bro? You know I haven't attacked Erika. I've said that Erika can make me stop. My audience is attacking me for not going down the Erika Kirk rabbit hole. So what could you be talking about, Matt Walsh? This interview, this clip by Matt Walsh seems scripted. What do I mean by scripted? He reads from a teleprompter every episode anyways. But what I mean is, it seems like it was an order from up above, a top-down order. Now's the time to put this message out, and we're going to need you to mention Candace. This interview is coming up this upcoming weekend with Erika. Now's the time for this quote-unquote psychological operation to go into full effect. Matt Walsh, they'll listen to you. You're friends with Candace. We need it to come from you. That's what it's come off like.
Let her grieve. Let her pick up the pieces of her shattered life in whatever way she sees fit. She deserves that grace. And we owe it to her. not because of any specific debt, not because we have no right to question her. Of course, we do have the right. But we have a moral obligation as children of our Heavenly Father to be charitable and kind towards suffering widows, especially the widow of a man that all of us on the right say that we respected and admired.
That's not true, though. See, now you're being a revisionist when it comes to history. A lot of people on the right, this is not about bashing Charlie, man. Whether the guy's still alive or not, the purpose of this isn't to bash him. The purpose is to be truthful. Matt Walsh, let's go back in time. I wish I had the sound effect to go back in time. As of September 9th, 2025, many people on the right was not rocking with Charlie Kirk. That's just the truth. That's the truth, bro. Many people were not rocking with him because of the war in the Middle East and how he was steadfast with supporting this evil government. So no, you're being revisionist, bro. A lot of people weren't happy and they weren't a fan of the guy. That's just the truth. And his style was different than what a lot of people was accustomed to. That's just a fact.
All told, the tragic reality is that 3 months after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the leftists who want us dead are more emboldened than ever.
Oh my God.
They are thrilled.
This is part of my freaking problem with these people. He keeps pushing the left versus right. The left versus right. You know dang well whether you fall on the left or right has nothing to do with if you're going to be murderous or not. That has very little to do with it, bro. You know, it's people on the left and the right, in the middle, neutral, non-political, apolitical, that will unalive a person regardless. You know that. This is how you know you need to watch, who you need to watch out for. When they come on here, and we're going to get into this with the Erika clips here in a moment, when they still choose to push the left, the left, the left, it's bigger than that, bro. It's evil, and then there's not evil. There's good, and then there's not good. It's not left versus right. Matt Walsh knows multiple people on the right that are evil behind closed doors, that are portraying to believe in God. And you're going to hear this once again in my TPUSA interview in about an hour, where he talks about how these people were behind the scenes. That's evil. Claiming to believe in God and you actually don't. I would argue that's more evil than the people that don't believe in God. They don't claim to believe in God. And Matt Walsh knows it.
And that was always the worst possible outcome. It's a trajectory that, if it continues, could destroy not only what Charlie built, but also what's left of the conservative movement. A movement that is the only thing standing between Western civilization and the forces that wish to tear it down brick by brick. That's the reason sociopaths like Tyler Robinson are smiling right now.
Oh my gosh.
They know they're winning.
A guy that's on trial, we have no footage of the dude pulling the trigger. Newsflash, we also have no footage of him being on campus. That's what a lot of people forget. We don't even have footage of him on campus, people. We've yet to see that. There's no footage of him on campus. There's no footage of him pulling the pow-powing Charlie. But people like Matt Walsh can come on here and speak with such confidence, such absolute certainty, that not only Tyler Robinson is guilty when trial hasn't even started yet, not only is he guilty, but he knows that he's guilty, but he's still confident even though he's caught. And he's smiling in court because of it. Okay. So let's transition into this first clip with Erika Kirk. I think this is a great transition time. And I want you all to notice something. Tell me what you noticed from this clip.
As you know, the last person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak.
Let me just step back and just give y'all sort of a peek through my lens, how I look at these things. So when they set up these interviews, so if you have not seen my Clive Davis interview, or I should rather say, if you have seen my Clive Davis documentary, one of the best bodies of work on this channel, hands down. In that interview, I talk about CBS. CBS comes up very, very often in that documentary because there's CBS Studios, there's CBS News, there's CBS, and there's like a subsidiary CBS. There's like 5 different CBSs. The people that are behind CBS are not only Zionists, as we all know, but a lot of them are occultists. A couple of them were open occultists, and they were big in what they call psychological warfare. So one of the departments of a gentleman who started it, look it up, fact check me as I always say, one of the men that started CBS in New York was previously working in the military in the psychological warfare department, which is very similar to, I believe, Rob McCoy or one of the pastors. They have a history in psychological warfare in the military. One of the things that they're big on is symbolism. They make sure to position certain symbols right there in your face. What you're going to notice in these clips is they perfectly position the CBS News symbol, which is the all-seeing eye, which is Freemasonic in nature, as we've talked about. They position it right behind Erika. I'm not saying Erika did this on purpose. I'm not saying she was in on it. I'm saying what CBS and the people behind CBS, what they practice. It's not even a conspiracy theory. That's a fact. Well, something else they'll do right there in your face is they'll have actors right in your face, and they'll tell you that they know who these people are, but it's up to the public to connect the dots. Right? What do I mean? Let's roll back what she just said here.
Erika, as you know, the last person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak.
Now, you could have just said a Utah Valley student, but you also wanted to say his name. And I'm going to tell you all why she wanted to say his name. But on a whim, let me see if I can pull up. Let me see if I can pull up Kozak. Let's see if I can pull up Hunter Kozak. Okay. Is it going to come up? Okay, it's not going to come up. Well, Hunter Kozak, for those of you that don't remember, is the guy. Let's see if I can pull it up. I really want to show y'all this clip. Let's see. Hunter Kozak. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's is there a way? Yeah. I'm gonna turn the sound off. I'm about to show you all this real quick. Just to refresh your memory. Hunter Kozak was the last person to ask Charlie Kirk a question before everything happened. We already went over this, but watch this with me. I'm trying to make it a little bit bigger. All right, there we go. Let's play this. So this is Hunter Kozak before Charlie even arrived. Right? What is he doing that for? What is he doing that for? Putting his hands on his head. Charlie hasn't even arrived yet. Moments later, Charlie Kirk's last questioner was Hunter Kozak, a Utah college student actor ? Let's see what happens the moment it takes place. And he does the same exact thing. Well, furthermore, Hunter Kozak, as a reminder for everybody, is the son of a gentleman named Steve Kozak, who works over Jimmy Kimmel at Jimmy Kimmel Live, or the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Jimmy Kimmel, remember, was momentarily suspended for some quote-unquote insensitive remarks about Charlie Kirk's pow-powing. Jimmy Kimmel, who literally films his show in a Freemasonic lodge. The Jimmy Kimmel Show, many of you all know this by now, but for those of you that are new, Jimmy Kimmel Show is actively filmed every single day in a Freemason lodge. That doesn't happen by accident. So now she frames the question with letting us know who was the last person by chance to be asking Charlie Kirk a question about transgender powers and violence, so that we can then later find out that the person who allegedly did this to Charlie was somebody involved in a relationship with a furry transgender person, and they took out Charlie Kirk. Really?
He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Hi there. Erika, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your calls for peace and unity, and I'm likewise horrified by the people in my so-called camp who were cheering about Charlie's murder. I believe that they stoke the flames of violence. But even worse is when powerful, influential people on either side of the aisle stoke the flames. When they do it, the flames can become an inferno. And this leads me to Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth, who has more responsibility than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month.
Okay. Look, I've already chosen to be the bad guy when it comes to this. I'm not gonna stop now. What is she doing? I understand, man, that like everybody grieves different, whatever. This thing that she's doing with her face, I don't feel like enough people are talking about this. The mascara or the eyeliner, whatever y'all women call that, it looks weird. I don't want to say evil. It looks weird. I'm trying to be generous. I'm trying to be considerate. It looks like acting. Like she's going through like different phases or something. Like, what is she doing here?
Me to Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth.
What the world? How did you go from, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too nitpicky. That's weird to me.
Who has more responsibility than anyone else to put the flames out. Just
what are we doing here? I don't know.
last month, President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried.
He called on how many, everybody? Did you all catch that? We got the same guy, Hunter Kozak. We know his backstory. He is the son, the direct son, and he just so happened to be a quote-unquote college student at the college where this happened to Charlie Kirk. By the way, Hunter Kozak is also directly affiliated, if I remember correctly, to Destiny, the content creator Destiny. Destiny is a part of this group, and if y'all remember, I had Kelvin on. Kelvin was on. It's been a couple of months, but Kelvin was talking about this group that Destiny is involved in. I think it's called Unelf America, UNLFUCK America. And they were sort of these left-leaning political extremists that were entertaining the idea of taking people out. My understanding, if I remember correctly, is that Hunter Kozak is affiliated with that. You got this same person who is the son of somebody that works at an organization that works out of a Freemasonic lodge. That's not even debatable. He's asking her about something and prepping this question about how Donald Trump asked Donald Trump was working with 6 lawmakers. It's the small things that typically get overlooked that's right there in our face.
Ability than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month, President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message: hang them. I think that you've been making strides to bring peace to our country, and that Turning Point has been asking Democrats to decry the individuals who cheer for violence. I have and will continue to decry them. But any good faith effort to stop political violence must hold both parties to the same standard and expectation. So in that spirit, will you condemn the violent rhetoric of Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth?
So, remember when I told you all at the very beginning, when I guest appeared on Poppin' Politics, the YouTube channel Poppin' Politics, which is a YouTube channel full of conservative women, albeit I know they're women and I know what I was walking into going into a group of women, but nonetheless, they're conservative leaning. And I went into it to try to understand, why do you all always ignore when Trump is saying these crazy things? He's saying these divisive things. Why? Why do y'all overlook that? Why are y'all never consistent? You can still be conservative, but call them out. The answer, or the non-answer answer that Miss Erika Kirk is about to give, which is, in my opinion, the cringiest part of the entire town hall. Watch the non-answer answer she's about to give. He asked her, are you willing to condemn Donald Trump's behavior as well? Pretty straightforward question, right? And remember that this is scripted. She knows the questions that are coming. Listen to what Erika Kirk said.
I appreciate your question. You know my heart.
What?
Why would I ever say, yes, go murder people?
Okay, let's that's another slip I feel like people didn't catch. You're speaking to a stranger and you're telling a stranger they know your heart? How would a stranger know your heart? How would anybody know your heart? But especially a stranger. You've never met this person before, right? Right? You don't know him, right? And remember when I said the positioning. Every time Erika Kirk speaks, look to her immediate left. You got the all-seeing eye, CBS News, and the Star. I haven't spent nearly as much time on this channel speaking about the significance of the star and what it represents. It doesn't have to be upside down to be a pentagram. Every time she speaks, you're going to see this all-seeing eye, CBS News symbol to her immediate left. There's a reason for that. But she already begins with nonsense by stating, you know my heart, to a complete stranger in the crowd. No, he doesn't know your heart. Or does he?
You know my heart.
What?
Why would I ever say, yes, go murder people? This is so much deeper than just one. I understand your sentiment. I do. But this is also so much deeper than just one person. This starts at the home, okay? This starts with family. This starts with a seed that grows and grows. You can choose to have evil in your heart, or you can choose to have light. What you consume and what you absorb from the outside world will manifest itself. No, I will never agree with political violence. My husband is a victim of it. I'm a victim of it. But what I'm trying to say here is that we can blame everyone else. We have to look in the mirror. When you become a father, when you become a mother, how are you raising your kids? Are you taking responsibility, or are you giving them a device and saying, go down that rabbit hole? I'm trying to go to Pilates class. You can just sit in the corner and look at your iPad or look at your phone and go down that rabbit hole and see what you can learn from that instead of being a parent. So my call to action from that is, parents, step up. Do you want your kid to be a thought leader or an assassin? That's where we're at.
But that's not what he asked you. I understand from the angle of the outcome of students, and I do agree with her on that, but it does start in the home. He asked you about President Trump. He said the thought leaders.
Do you think our political leaders have a responsibility to turn the temperature down right now?
Well, I think everyone has a responsibility to do that, and I'm doing my part.
That's a non-answer answer. She's not answering the question. That's not what they're asking you. Why is it so hard for these people on the left and the right to condemn these political leaders? What is that about? It's very difficult to fight the accusations or the allegations that you people are paid shields. It's very difficult. She knows that it's not only going to be inflammatory, but it's going to be very harmful for Trump if she says the truth, which is, yes, Trump has a tendency to do this, as we saw literally today with the actor, producer, movie film producer guy. Now all of a sudden, she can't just simply say, yes, what Trump is doing, he should tone it down. Everybody is responsible. Instead, she keeps making it a general thing.
I'm not in control of other people.
That's crazy. And like I was saying before, all of it has an agenda attached to it. This would have been a lot more believable of a town hall meeting if Miss Erika Kirk was there to simply answer questions about maybe Charlie and maybe her directly, or maybe TPUSA. I understand that she's the CEO now, but I mean, what history does she have in politics like that, right? So this interview would only make sense if it's about Charlie, Turning Point USA, or about herself. Listen to what one of the questions in the audience was about, and remember that all of this was predestined. It was predetermined. All of these are scripted questions that she knows is coming. So it begs the question, why are they planting these specific types of questions for this town hall meeting with Erika Kirk? What's the true agenda of this?
Bob Milgram is the father of Sarah Milgram. Sarah was fatally shot last May outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., alongside Yaron Lashinsky, her boyfriend. Sarah was just 26 years old when she was killed. Bob, thank you so much for being here.
And there it is. And there it is. I mean, it's right here in our face. This was part of the reason. They're using the Charlie Kirk incident. They're using, they know if Erika Kirk is there, there's going to be odds, right? Which, by the way, the ratio on Twitter is insane. CBS News is posting these clips. One clip had like 1.7 million impressions. I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. There were less than 200 likes. I want you all to understand how insane that is. The people aren't buying it. So when you have YouTubers like, what do you meme? Officer Tatum, Dave Rubin, pushing these nonsensical arguments that no one believes, I would ask them, when you go to the comment section, when you go to the people, if you have the courage to actually go live on your own platform, let's see what the people have to say. Nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it. Why Why is this being asked at a town hall with Erika Kirk? Why is this relevant to Erika Kirk? Well, we're about to find out why.
Thank you, Barry. Hello, Erika.
Hi, sir.
Just as our family could not anticipate the pain we've been going through following the murder of our daughter, Sarah, there is no way I can understand the pain that you and your children are going through as a result of Charlie's tragic death. Our daughter was killed because of anti-Semitism,
Oh my God.
hate against Jews, and hate against the Jewish homeland, Israel. We know about the growth of anti-Semitism on the left, including here in New York City, where the mayor-elect still will not condemn the phrase, globalize the infantata. What I want you to address is growing anti-Semitism on the right, including Holocaust denial, anti-Zionism, and the normalizing of centuries-old conspiracy theories about Jews. Will you here condemn the individuals spreading that hate and speak out clearly enough against anti-Semitism so we can prevent another tragedy?
Yes.
If this was truly genuine and authentic, then he would have got up there and said, Erika, I would like for you to speak out against anti-Semitism, racism, Islamophobia, xenophobia, and the list goes on. He doesn't say that. He only asks for her to speak about something that's important to him. How selfish is that? He only asked for her, as he wears this yellow ribbon, to speak and condemn something that is hurtful to only one group of people. How selfish is that?
Sir, first of all, I'm so sorry. You and I are a part of a very small club. Painful. But you're in good company, and I will pray for you. It sucks, doesn't it? Hate is hate. It's evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful. Awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general. Nothing. Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together. And to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor, how could you hate that place?
So we're conflating here. Like, we're conflating, man. And this is what I'm saying. It makes no sense. And again, if it was truly genuine or objective, then you would easily say or quickly say, what? Why hate Jewish people? I would agree with her. Why? Generally speaking. Why hate Christians? Why would you not say, why I hate Muslims? Why I hate Hindus? This seems like it's not about humanity. It seems like you're pushing a narrative. And I guess we have some breaking news. I guess Candace Owens has made a post about her update. Let's see what she said about her and Erika Kirk. All right. It says, Eric and I had an extremely productive 4.5-hour meeting that I think we both feel should have taken place a lot earlier than it did. We agreed much more than I had anticipated. Of course, we also disagreed on various points and people as well. Most importantly, we were able to share intel and clarify intent. I will, of course, have a full rundown for you all tomorrow, as I'm currently exhausted, but I want to quickly let you guys know that absolutely nothing was held back, and the immediate result was that tensions were thawed. I mean, I guess it's good news. It's not that I want tension, but this is interesting.
How getting drinks.
That's interesting.
What I'll say is, when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than going. I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here. So if you're expecting to marry someone that I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie. Are you going to church? Are you going to Bible study? Did you tell your pastor that you are ready for the Lord to bring into your life the man that you've been praying for? You yourself need to be prepared for that man, and only you will know how to do that. Does that mean staying out and going out with the girls? I'm not saying you sit on your couch and all of a sudden he's going to knock on your door and be like, honey, let's rendezvous. Like, that's not how it happens. It's not. Granted, my situation was a little different. I wouldn't do it.
You went to a job interview.
Literally. So this is how good the Lord is. He knew that because I was not dating in New York City, he knew that in order for me to know that that was my man, he had to blanket Charlie as a job interview. Because if that went in, no joke, if he came to me and said, hey, let's go on a date to Bill's Burgers, I'd be like, I am so sorry. Thank you, but no, we're not doing this. That was my mindset. I was not in that headspace. I just wasn't. But God will work in incredible ways when you surrender the.
Very interesting. Very interesting, because I went ahead and played that clip all the way through because I know the person here says Erika Kirk caught in the lie a few weeks before she met Charlie. She was on a show called Summer House Dating and drinking with Jordan Vero, one of the cast members from the show. She was on multiple episodes dating him. Yeah, I thought it was going to show that in that clip, but it didn't. This is very interesting. This is a very interesting tweet from Candace. You know, I'm glad that they were able to agree on some things, but I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, I just read the tweet, everybody, from Candace. That's interesting. I don't know, but I don't want to get caught too much off track. We can do a separate video on that. Let's move to the next clip that I thought was interesting. And that is the one that many of us have saw, and that's the one about conspiracy theories.
Talk about discernment.
Yes.
Okay. Being able to separate truth from lies, reality from unreality. A 22-year-old man named Tyler Robinson has been arrested and charged with the murder of your husband. And yet there are a huge number of conspiracy theories, you might call them brain rot, that are spreading right now online about the actual story behind the reality. One, people say that Tyler Robinson was actually a MAGA Republican. Or two, some people say you were actually a Mossad agent sitting in front of me, and you were Charlie's handler, and Israel killed Charlie.
Right.
Other people say that a number of men in the crowd were wearing maroon T-shirts, and this signifies that his killing was an elite airborne operation, whatever that means. They say that the rings on your fingers, which are
My kids'
Your
initials.
kids' initials.
My wedding band, the Medal of Freedom, my engagement ring.
But apparently they symbolize some kind of secret plot. There's also a new theory that Egyptian aircraft have been tracking you. What is going on? Why are there so many conspiracies spreading about what seems to be a pretty open and shut case?
It's not an open and shut case, but let's go ahead and address many of the things that she just said here, because she kind of, I appreciate that they're addressing this and answering some of these questions. I do want to be honest about that. I do like that Erika addressed the ring thing, like her children's initials and things of that sort. At least we got an answer from her. Whether people choose to believe it or not is another thing, but at least she answered it. So we can appreciate that. But I need you all to pay attention to something bigger here that's happening. They're using this interview to try to push for censorship. That's what Barry Weiss is doing here. How does Barry Weiss know exactly what happened that day? She doesn't. So why or how can she speak with such certainty on her end? Right? It's trying to force people to think that the way that they want you to think, to say the things that they want you to say. Right? How does she know what the truth is or not? People are free to come to whatever conclusion they want to come to. But from her perspective, no, you should only come to the conclusion that I come to, or that the government tells you to come to. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. And this is not an open and shut case. There are so many unanswered questions. And I'm curious to see what the outcome of this private meeting with Erika is going to result in. That's going to be very interesting. Because at this point, Candace can't just stop talking about it. It will be impossible. The people are going to turn on her because it's going to look too suspicious. I'm looking for it.
This is the first time that we have seen evil on display where we have social media at our fingertips.
What? I remember when I first heard this, I was like, this is the first time we've seen evil on social media since we've had it at our fingertips. No, it's not. We've seen evil, a lot of evil. Have you heard of the war that's happening in the Middle East? We saw it in just the last year alone. We've been seeing evil all over social media for years. What does she mean by that?
That case.
This is the first time that we have seen evil on display where we have social media at our fingertips.
No, it's not.
Something so evil that happened, people are wanting answers immediately. They are wanting to figure out how to wrap their mind around this. Egyptian planes.
Egyptian
Egyptian
planes. Do you
planes.
believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Oh my God. I'm just so curious to hear what she's about to say, because the real answer should be because the FBI story has conflicted with one another. There are so many unanswered questions. There are so many verified lies that TPUSA has been caught in. There were things happening behind the scenes. Mikey McCoy will not show us his call log to absolve the weird behavior by him and to explain why he turned away in less than a second. A 30-06, more experts, gun experts, military, ex-military, Green Beret, Navy SEAL have come out and said that this makes no sense in comparison to the experts that have said that it does make sense. That's why. What we have seen that's public facing, the evidence that's been presented doesn't add up. That's why. If you are answered in good faith, that's what you would come to the conclusion of.
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this. Why in the world, why should we, prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do with it, but what
I don't know either. Because that argument, respectfully, is tired. It makes no sense. You have an open and shut case, right? That's what Barry Rice just said, and I'm sure you agree. You're so sure that Tyler Robinson did this, right? So how could showing us the footage of him pulling the trigger, if you show it to us, all right, great. We're not claiming to know what happened. We're saying what you're telling us does not make sense. To be disingenuous and to not acknowledge that is only going to hurt your argument.
What I will say, and I want to get on the Egyptian plane thing, we'll take a flight on that for a second. What I will say is what I'm worried about, and I'm fascinated, just from a legal standpoint, to see how the United Healthcare trial pans out. And I say that because this is the first time where we are seeing the implications.
You're talking about Luigi Mangione.
Correct. I'd prefer never to say any of their names. They do not even deserve the ounce of oxygen and breath out of my body. But what I mean is it's fascinating to see how social media will impact that court case, just how it might impact mine.
Are you nervous he's not going to get a fair trial?
I'm nervous that there could be, they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like they're going to taint the jury pool. And in that case,
that's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone?
Yes.
That's how mainstream they become. Okay.
No. I mean, objectively speaking, it's fair why she would feel that way. But there are so many people who are not online. You can just have an older, jury if that's the case. And what do you mean taint them? Like, if you're offering up different possibilities, what matters is what's presented in trial. There are procedures for that. That's what a lot of people forget. Whenever they pick these jury pools, they pick them out strategically, and there's a process of how they vet these people, how they probe these people during the trial, such as not allowing them to use their phone, limiting their access of talking to other people, making sure that whatever decision that they make or come to is based on what was presented in the trial. So that's a very interesting thing to say. It just doesn't make sense to me, but maybe I'm missing it.
Okay. Egyptian planes.
You want to talk about Egyptian planes?
Okay. I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I've traveled, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not within those dates that they've.
But you even said you need to.
No, but this is, yeah, but I do on that one, only because, from a humor standpoint, I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private. But it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae. That's what I want to do. I'm pregnant, and I have 9 months to own it. You really think I'm going to be on an Egyptian plane while I am wanting to be with my In-N-Out burger and my chocolate milkshake? No, I'm not. So if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You say I was here on this date. I have a photo in my phone to prove that I actually was in the hospital because I was having contractions. So game on.
that's a straw man, because as I'm sure you all have heard already, that's no one made that argument. We weren't saying, or Candace or anyone else that I heard ever argue that Miss Erika Kirk was on the planes. The argument was that they were following Erika. And let me go ahead and take it a step further for those who haven't said it out loud. The implications is that something potentially illegal was taking place. Possibly even the illegal movement of human bodies, if you follow me. Whether Erika, Charlie knew about it or not is another conversation. But that's the implications I will be making. So that's actually not, that's a straw man. That's misrepresenting what someone has said and then completely dismantling that position, which is dishonest. Or maybe she just misunderstood. I don't know. But the same day that this took place, for those of you that don't know, the same exact day that this aired, this happened. Have you all seen and heard about this? 15 unalived in shooting at Bundy Beach Hanukkah event, including children. Now, remember, I've talked about this in other videos before. A lot of these events, the events that, the pow-powing that took place, I believe it was in Las Vegas, where they went up to like the 33rd floor. I forget where it was located. But the person that allegedly did it, I talked about how they'll have these things to take place at names that will remind you of other prominent people. In this case, you have what? 15 unalived in shooting at Bundy Beach Hanukkah event. And we obviously know about Pam Bundy. It would make you think of Pam Bundy. What's also important is that this happened in Australia, the same country that banned the one and only Candace Owens. Including children. Officials said the shooting was designed to target the Jewish community. An event to mark the first day of Hanukkah was taking place at the iconic beach in Sydney. Now, would you look at that? This is crazy. What we know, at least 15 people were unalived, police said, with 27 other people hospitalized, including a dozen who are in critical condition after a shooting at Australia's famous Bundy Beach in Sydney. Police identified the two suspects as a father and son, ages 50 and 24. Officers fatally pow-powed the 50-year-old at the scene, while the 20-year-old suffered critical injuries and was hospitalized. Officials said the son may face criminal charges. It is declared a terrorist event and said it was designed to target Jewish people. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said the government will consider further tightening Australia's already strict gun laws in light of the attack. The country's deadly pow-powing since 1996, which we talked about these dates before in many videos, because that's numerology right there in itself. Because as above, so below, 1996 can also be viewed as 666 or even 999, which works the same. Australian Prime Minister urged Australians to light a candle at 6:47 local time, 2:47 Eastern AM Eastern time. Today, I convened National Cabinet to respond to the act of terror and anti-Semitism in Bundy, right, which reminds you of Pam Bundy, who was the person that was covering for Jeffrey Epstein earlier this year, last night. We stand with Jewish Australians and we stand against hatred and violence. Australia is stronger than those who try to divide us, and we will come through this together. Now, for those of you that may look at this as, first and foremost, let me say I send my condolences to those that may have been affected from this event. But the 14th was yesterday, and Saturday was the 13th, which would have made it the second week of December. This is a tweet that Candace Owens put out back in November. They have been signaling that a 9/11 style attack is coming the second week of December. Save this tweet. It will age well. Now, let's be clear. This was not on the level, even remotely on the level of a 9/11, but I think the intention still lands, which is to say something they were signaling in some sort of way that during the second week of December, something tragic and horrific will take place. And then we had this, and then we had the Brown University powwowing, if you all have not heard about that. How is it that a tweet like this can be put out? And then sure enough, the day before or on the last day of the second week of December, surely something major happened, and it just so happened to involve anti-Semitism. On the same day that the Erika Kirk town hall meeting dropped, and we're getting questions like this.
Bob Milgram is the father of Sarah Milgram. Sarah was fatally shot last May outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., alongside Yaron Lashinsky, her boyfriend. Sarah was just 26 years old when she was killed. Bob, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barry. Hello, Erika.
Hi, sir.
Just as our family could not anticipate the pain we've been going through following the murder of our daughter, Sarah, there is no way I can understand the pain that you and your children are going through as a result of Charlie's tragic death.
Yeah. And he's about to spin this into anti-Semitism, which, of course, I condemn any form of hatred 100%. But do you all think that this is a coincidence that this all happened around the same time? Really? This is insanity, man. Yeah. Heck yeah. This live is went a little bit longer than what I wanted it to go. Because again, I got that as a reminder, the interview with the Turning Point USA, the ex Turning Point USA employee whistleblower, premiering in 10 minutes. So I don't want to be live when that appears. But the ultimate point that I'm getting at here is in a week's period, we had Matt Walsh to come out and tell Candace to stop. We got Erika Kirk coming out the same week telling Candace to stop. On the same day the town hall meeting premieres, the powwowing take place in Bondi Beach, Australia. And it's all revolving around anti-Semitism. What I believe is taking place is that they were losing the narrative. And by they, y'all know who I'm talking about. And they needed another PSYOP to take place. And I believe all of this has been a PSYOP working on each other. And we'll know or have a better idea Candace's role tomorrow. But my prediction is that I would be shocked if she stopped. But if she made any major pivots, it's going to show. I believe this is going to help transition us further into the New World Order. I do believe that. And I think digital IDs, which has not been nearly talked about enough on this channel, which I plan to, these sort of deals are inching us there because they're going to try to change laws. When you can propagate this propaganda onto the masses, you can then follow it up with laws. Yeah, crazy. But anyways, let me get to some super chats so that I'm not live when this interview premieres. But I know a lot of people suspect Candace may be in on it. I can't answer that one way or the other, but we will know based on people's behaviors. Where can we watch this whistleblower? You can watch it on this channel. Yeah, you can watch it on this channel. All righty. What is her body and face doing? She's contorting. Adrian, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. You're talking about Erika. I agree. It was, I don't know what that was. And it was like that the entire interview. And I'm like, anybody that's watching in good faith can see, like, that's weird. It's like she's glitching or something. I mean, is she human? Like, what's going on? Mickey, what's up, Mickey? Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Look at the decor on the tenant at UVU. Lightning bolts everywhere. Did you notice they did it? Yes, I noticed it. And other people pointed it out as well. They pointed that out as well. Because those of you that don't know, I don't want to digress too much here, but lightning bolts is tied into ancient mythology as well, with Zeus being at the helm of that quote unquote conspiracy. But again, that's a conversation for another day. Thank you so much, Allison, for the $2 super chat. Erika said, "Now I'm playing my part." Exactly the part. Man, what? Seems that way. Erika Kirk said, "Human." That's why I trailed. She's high value. Yeah, doing her interview, like I noticed that she was like, "We are human." I'm like, some of y'all, the way y'all come off, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not even trying to be like salacious or over the top with it, but it does come off that way. Bondi Beach. Not sure I followed that one. I wish you would elaborate just a little bit more. Bundy Beach, BB equals 33. I thought about that. I may have to do a full video, actually, Susan. I may have to do a full video on this pow in Australia, because 100% I believe it was a PSYOP. And part of how you can figure that stuff out is looking into the people themselves. Because I'm curious if they have some sort of military background, like we typically find in these scenarios. The world is the stage, the players in place. 100%. I agree. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Mickey, thank you for the $20 super chat. Thanks for what you do, bro. People I come in contact with in real life have no idea what's going on. And most people online, I just wonder if they're real. Great audience here, though. I agree. It's the reason why I see YouTube channels like, "What do you meme?" And I'm like, that guy, it's weird to me when these people don't go live. I know everybody don't like it, but what are you afraid of? It makes me feel like some of you people are afraid to interact with the people because they're going to hold you accountable. You're pushing these ideas, but you don't want to actually face the people. Come to the people with it. Let's see if you can stand on that nonsense that y'all talking about. It's like y'all aren't real people. You just follow a script or something, even the YouTubers. I want people to stand on what they say. I want to meet them in real life. Because I'm like, any regular human would be doing all the same things we would be doing. But these people, I think, are backed by sponsors and funders for real, and teams. And they don't have their own thoughts. Their thoughts are not their own. If Candace pivots at all tomorrow, that's all we need to know. T. Marie, I agree. Thank you so much for the follow super chat. But I think it's going to be more specific. We got to watch it. The reason if she was to pivot, my guess is she's not going to. I think some things she's going to clear up, but other things not so much. We'll see. My bigger thing is the whole Charlie Kirk alive narrative. If that's going to be entertained or if that came up, you know, I'll give y'all my thoughts. There's certain things I'm going to be looking for tomorrow. No, when she said I'm growing, a human said, oh, that's what you mean. Right. Are you sort of alleging, like, why does she have to sort of like clarify or be so specific about that? Why does she have to word it that way? You can see it in the spirit if you have the gift. I agree. I totally agree. Yeah. Heck yeah, y'all. So the interview with the TPUSA whistleblower will be premiering in about 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. So you all, as always, hop in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button. And I will catch y'all tomorrow after we get an update on everything. All right. Y'all have a great rest of your night, man. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. Peace. Oh, yeah. Didi got a podcast.
Attitudes and our work ethic become very important in realizing our goals and opening up possibilities. I had lunch a couple of weeks ago with a recent graduate at UCA. And his story, is really fascinating. It's one of overcoming homelessness during his time pursuing his degree, first at a community college here in Arkansas, and then finishing his bachelor's degree here at UCA. His narrative ranges from estrangement from family for many years to a hopeful reunion with mother and siblings. His record is one of overcoming odds in a way that I probably could not, and certainly demonstrating levels of tenacity and patience and optimism that I can only marvel at. He wanted to talk with me about his new job and his career path going forward. I really need to be there to learn from him because that's where the real value was.
Everything I say in this video is alleged. Allegedly. No such thing as a life that is better than yours. Y'all can just repeat after me. I really appreciate it. Alright? No such thing. Come on, we can do better than that. Talk to me. Talk to me. Alright, let's start going. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. You're worse than the rich white people who are, or the rich white Jews that own these record labels, because they don't even understand these populations. You have a lot closer relationship to these people, and you're leading them to hellfire. You are leading them in the wrong direction in the name of getting rich and famous. How dare you? Oh yeah, Didi got a podcast.